All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway Truck Series here at Daytona International Speedway, and it is time to kick off our 4-race playoff here at Daytona. So we'll be having 4 races, 12 drivers vying to get to that top step of the championship here. So everybody's going to reset all on equal grounds from 1st through 12th. So say before we get too far ahead, we'll go ahead and list off those 12 drivers. But as you can see on the timing scoring up front there, say we have 75 laps here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. As always, we have our typical 1 fast pair available for the drivers if they need so. And of course, then the 3 attempts of a green white checkered finish if that comes into play. So those will be definitely things to keep in mind and keep an eye out for tonight. And so without further ado, we'll get to those 12 drivers, and they will be the 88 of Gabe Butler, who is going to be going for a championship. He has had a big season so far. Out of his 8 races, he has 5 wins and 6 top 5s, along with the 6 top 10s. Kevin Freese has had a solid season with 5 top 5s, 5 top 10s. Seth Groover sitting in the third, well, not third position, but third in line here. I have Seth Groover. Has not had a top 5 yet, surprisingly, but has 3 top 10s. Josh Laston with 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. Eric Laurie with a win, 2 top 5s, and 3 top 10s. Robert Rock with 1 top 5 and 4 top 10 finishes, to Rick Sanchez with 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s. Then we continue on to Todd Siebels, same thing, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Bud Steele has 1 top 10 so far this season. Matt Wagner, 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s. Dean Wilkinson with a win, 4 top 5s and 4 top 10s. And then we get down to Gary Winters, our final playoff driver tonight, with the 1 top 5 and 1 top 5 and 1 top 10 for Gary there in the number 66 machine. And so right now drivers putting down their qualifying laps, going to go for maybe get a bonus point for the pole position. However, we also have some heavy hitters not in the playoffs tonight. Say Sebastian Marin, one of those. That will definitely be one to keep an eye on. Gary Jenkins as well. Les Levy's in the field here as well, so he's going to be one to keep an eye out. Dude Conrad. So there's some very, very heavy hitters here tonight that are kind of could be spoilers. I have a feeling more so probably looking for some team players here this evening. So watch for that. I do see the dynamic duo, if you will, of Seth and Patrick Groover. Looks like they've got themselves hooked up together tonight, so they'll both be in the field. I would suspect we'll see them working together. I've definitely seen some additions in both camps on the TW side and on the Bootnaka side for drivers that are in the race here tonight. So I think that also will be coming into play. So I would expect to see some extra teamwork, maybe trying to, of course you want to finish well and have fun yourself, but I think we're going to see some drivers try to help out their fellow teammates. So it's always, we've talked about before, it's always been a team effort, team sport, and I think we're going to see that come into play here tonight for sure. So after tonight's race, next week we'll be at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, followed by Talladega, and then finishing it up at iRacing Super Speedway right before the Easter break. So then we'll have a couple of weeks off to get back at it again for season 2. And yeah, so it's going to be exciting. Hope you all will enjoy tonight's event. I always welcome any feedback, any comments, chats. If you have any questions, comments, by all means, let me know. Tonight, I'll be most likely rolling solo. Maxwell Caldwell a little bit under the weather here tonight. So Maxwell, hope you're feeling better soon. I know you're definitely missing this one tonight, but always willing to help out where I can. And they'd be doing the same for me, so really appreciate them for that. And it looks like qualifying has just completed. And sure enough, we talked about qualifying, if it was going to play a role or not, and it will, but maybe not in the way we expected it to take part in this one, as it's going to be Sebastian Marin taking pole position, almost, if you will, stealing a spot, if you will, from the pole position for bonus points from. But you look at Gary Jenkins, same thing. He would have been the next in line there. So really, it's Kevin Freese, the first of the championship runners there. Gabe Butler. Then you got Dude Conrad, Vicente Guerrero, Josh Hanner, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, Rick Sanchez are top 10. Then you got Seth Groover and Austin Call 11th and 12th. Continuing down the order, 13th, you got Les Levy, Josh Laston, Ryan Decker, Jim Brooks, David Overstreet will actually, so 17 drivers put a qualifying lap in, and then you go from Patrick Groover on back. These guys opted not to put a qualifying lap down. May have been strategy just stay in the back, maybe avoid some troubles. Might be a strategy call to say, you know what, maybe I can get the highest climber. So we'll see from there on back. Matt Wagner, Chris Passini there, 1920th, Robert Rock, Gary Winters, Rudy Doden, apologies, and Randy Lapidus there. And still some more drivers to go through, though. You see you got Dean Wilkinson and Michael Mayu, Jimmy Crawford, and Brandon Briggs in that 28th position. So this is going to be interesting to see strategy-wise how it's going to go. You see Dean Wilkinson, one of our playoff drivers, I believe will be the furthest starting back in the grid for tonight's event. Right now, a few drivers yet to officially grid for the race, so it's going to take another minute or so. And also looking around, trying to see, I believe we're missing maybe one or two drivers. Yeah, going back through my timing and scoring here, I do not see Todd Siebels, unfortunately. So that's already one playoff driver not in the field here this evening. So it's not, obviously, at that point, it's not realistic that he'll have a chance to go for the championship. But definitely, like I said, a handful of TW drivers here. I'm kind of peeking in on the Discord channels, seeing about 6 drivers in the Bootnaka Discord. Closed Circuit has about 6 drivers as well. Looks like they've actually kind of snagged the Groover brothers as well. 3 over in Roswell and 4 over in TW. So for just a few of the trucks that are kind of all gathered together, you see the field leaving pit road to start their warm-up lap. And we will get things underway for 75 laps here this evening. We've been picking on Sebastian Marin every so often during the races when he's been spectating to kind of get his insights and thoughts. So now, though, we won't be able to bug him too much. Maybe we'll catch him during a caution and see what he's thinking. But like I said, he's going to be in the thick of it here with some of these championship contenders. And I mean, he could be their best friend. He could be their worst enemy. You never know, just based on the pace he has. Is he's going to get a little extra warm up in those tires there, running the road course, get that bus stop taken care of. And I say making sure that truck can handle more ways than one here tonight. We'll keep an eye on the fuel window as well. As I say, that always comes into play. I believe it should be pretty much a guaranteed 3-stop race. I want to say the fuel mileage somewhere in the upper teens, probably about 18, 19 or so laps of fuel. So we'll keep an eye when those drivers start to hit pit road. Again, pending it going green. Cautions could, of course, throw a wrench into everybody's plans here tonight. But looking forward to see what everybody has for us tonight. And so, yeah, so with that, let's say you see that pace car about to drop off, and does indeed. As we're going to head to the start-finish line, green flag is out, down, and away. And we are underway for playoff race number 1 of 4 as Sebastian Marin leads the field to the green. So they come out of turn number 4. Right now, Sebastian Marin, that inside line really prevailed there. Usually you see the outside line have a bit of a run down the backstretch, but it's not to be there. And Kevin Freese, he's going to peek up top, see if he can steal lap number 1 from that 23, and I think Kevin's going to do so. So give a bonus point, and lap number 1 led to Kevin Freese in that very shiny Budweiser number 25. As you see the 90 truck here of Gary Jenkins jumping to the top. Not sure if that's to try to maybe make a third lane or if he's trying to drop to the back here. And I think that's Gary saying, I'm dropping to the back here, boys. So Gary, great qualifying run, but he's going to drop a little bit back here. As up front, though, it's going to be the 23 and the 25 working together here. Leading the front rows, you got a big push from the 8 on the inside. You saw the 2 there for a little bit of Joshua Hanner. He's been in really good spots, but unfortunately just hasn't had the luck But wouldn't you have it though? Say we've got a number of beer affiliated or paint scheme trucks right now in the front. You got Kevin Friesen at 25 Budweiser. You got the two with the Miller Lite kind of liveried truck there. However, as you can see though, sponsored by Closed Circuit, his team. You got a Guinness truck behind of Gabe Butler. That's a very common one we've been seeing a lot of. Obviously, tomorrow will be a very fitting day for that one. And then a Budweiser truck, that fourth in line of Vicente Guerrero. And then one more hiding in there, I believe, there from that number 10 of Bud Steele. So we've got our fair share of the beverage variety of trucks here up in the front early on. But right now it's going to be Kevin Fries still kind of just right now holding kind of status quo here at Daytona right now, locked and side by side with that 23. And really, it's at this point, it's kind of a strategy call here. Again, Daytona about that eight or so feet narrower than Talladega makes it a little trickier to run that third lane. So I don't suspect we'll see as aggressive and as frequent three-wide racing as we might see at some of the other tracks. So I'll have to keep an eye on that one for sure out of these drivers. And unfortunately, you saw in the timing scoring there, we do have a number of drivers that actually are not in the race here. So we actually had 25 take the green. Not seeing Michael Mayu, Brandon Briggs, or Jimmy Crawford, unfortunately. So 25 starting the race here tonight. Unfortunately, the 04 Randy Lapidus just falling off the draft here. Unfortunately, I think he's too far out now to be able to tag onto the back. So he is going to start to really drop pace. Rudy Doden, Robert Rock, Dean Wilkinson kind of pulling back up into that draft. So not the ideal situation, but again, still a long ways to go in this one. And again, no crazy big moves as of yet. Pretty much the highest climber is actually that number 2 truck of Joshua Hanner. As you can see, actually, he's now leading the outside line. He was able to push Kevin Fries on clear. So right now he's sitting at about +4, +5, depending on where he is on track. And really is one of the highest gaining positions trucks as they run. So right now I've talked to Josh a little bit pre-race, and he said, man, I just want to finish one of these things. You see there, a big push from the 88, got a little unsettled there, had to gather it back up. You saw Gabe rolled out of it just a tiny bit to make sure that the two could gather it back up, and now they try to get back and going again, but you can see how much momentum they lost. And that could open the door here for the 8 of Dude Conrad, or if the pace continues to drop like it did there, maybe Bud Steele might be able to find a way to sneak in here, sneak up top of that 2 truck, but looks like they've reset and are starting to recover back towards the front. And you got to go about mid-pack or so, just to about, I believe, that 46 truck of David Overstreet. This is where these guys are just kind of sitting and riding right now. This is a strategy call. I've seen it a lot. It's something that I like to do as well. You find just outside the 2x2 or even 3 wide at times, and you kind of sit right there, and it's a nice little pocket where you feel a little bit more comfortable, a little safer. You got room in front of you, you got room behind you, you got room to your side to react if you need to. So David Overstreet doing exactly what I would be doing in this situation, just trying to find a nice little pocket to sit in. And same thing with one of our championship contenders there in that 11 of Matt Wagner, also in a nice little comfortable spot. But however, comfort, I wouldn't be comfortable right now. If I'm Dean Wilkinson here, Rudy Doden, Robert Rock, I'm falling a little further back than I'd like to here. I'd rather kind of get just a little bit closer, even if it's just about 2 to 3 truck lengths. I like to get a little closer to feel a little better about where I am. So we'll see if he can close that gap back up. But up front here, you can see the 2's gotten back up there. And here comes that third lane, though. And it looks like it's going to be the brothers here. It's going to be the 01 and the 02. They thought about it. They decided to tuck back in there. As you see off the back there, we'll actually look out the back of that 51 of Jim Brooks, let's say, because that's going to be what he's looking at right now. He's going to be watching these 2 trucks behind him and say, all right, are they going to be pushing 3 wide? Am I going to have to worry about getting squeezed in the middle? But now it looks like they're going to settle in for the moment. Again, though, we're only on lap 8 of 75, so still a long ways to go. Not even quite halfway through this first fuel run, I believe. So still plenty of time to have things happen. As you see the list leaving at 62, and so you can't quite tell what it says on the smaller part of it, but you see ham sandwich on the side of that number 62 truck. Yeah, it's indeed ham sandwich. So hopefully we'll get less with a top 3 interview, or maybe we just pull Les in at some point. We can get some more info on this ham sandwich truck of Les Levy. He always has some fun paint schemes, and And actually, I'm sure you've seen it on the timing, scoring, and the tickers and stuff. If you're interested in some of his paint schemes, maybe you want to have him do something special for you, you can find him at Levy Designs on Facebook, so definitely check him out. While we're poking around there, you see the 23 and the 25, they've gotten back side by side. So really, it's been these two trucks that have been controlling most of the race so far this evening. The two had a little bit of an opportunity to, wasn't able to capitalize on it. But again, like I said, still a ton of time remaining in this one, as you can see. And again, also looking at the trucks and where they're all lined up here, you got the two boot knockers down together on that inside line. Sebastian Merritt, I'm not sure if he's officially lined up with anybody formally in tonight's race, so we'll see. He might just be he's going to work with whoever and just have fun. I say, knowing Sebastian, he just likes to have fun in these races, so we'll kind of see what his strategy is. But yeah, right now, like I said, not a ton of movers and shakers. Right now, the next set of highest movers is actually now gone to about, we mentioned the 51 of Jim Brooks. He's about +5. As well as the 01 of Patrick Groover, also sitting at 5 spots gained. As you see right there, Jim Brooks gets to the inside right in front of Les Levy. And I think that strategy, I think these guys are thinking, okay, I want to make sure I don't get pinned on the outside line. We've seen it happen from time to time before. And unfortunately, it's caused some big troubles as well when drivers kind of get pinned up there and they say, hey, I have to pit or else I'm not going to make that other lap. And it's a risk versus reward. And yeah, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So I think that's why you're seeing some drivers not willing to take that risk here early on. Just get in line as soon as they had that opening. Hopefully the baby enjoys the show. I would say maybe hopefully on your side, Chris, on the dad's side, hopefully maybe it's a boring enough, I do a boring enough job of broadcasting that she maybe takes a nap. That way you can get some rest yourself. But hope you and the baby and the missus are all doing well. Still super excited for you guys and definitely looking forward to setting something up where we can get together and meet the newest addition to the family. And yeah, like you mentioned, I saw you mentioned the bus stop that Sebastian did during the warm-up lap. And yeah, so he'll take any horsepower he can get. If he can get 10 extra horsepower out of that would be, I think everybody would be taking that little bus stop. As you see also there, I saw that the 01 just sneak in front of the 02 here. So they're, like I said, they're starting to get themselves settled in here in line and trying to make sure they don't get burned, I feel like, with these pit stop strategies. But then I look to those that were saving from the get-go. I watch a David Overstreet, a Matt Wagner. When these guys start to back it down and fall to the back, is that the time, maybe in another 3-4 or so laps, maybe this is the time that Matt Wagner is going to jump to the top and try to gain some track position, maybe try to save that one extra lap of fuel with some of his other teammates around him and try to hustle his way up to the front. So that's going to be fun to see what the strategy is up front, though. Continues to still be Kevin Freese leading the way. Definitely has been racking up some bonus points on the laps led side of things. Of course, if he can lead the most laps, that'll give him one more bonus point. But right now, you see everybody's being pretty nice, racing clean and green right now. And that is another part that comes into this because, again, 4 races, every point's going to be extremely crucial. So when you can get an extra 3 points for an incident-free race, that will go a long way. I mean, if you can run all 4 races incident-free, that's 12 bonus points in your pocket. That could be the difference between a second-place points finish and a championship. So that is definitely a strategy as well. That's why I think you see these guys not being over-aggressive yet. As you can see, a big squeeze there by the 2. He's able to just get in line there in front of the 71 of Eric Laurie. And here you see it. I think that outside line just starting to fizzle here. Everybody's going to try to find openings to get down. And so eventually, like I said, this is where you have to be very careful because the aggression starts to kick out. And I think is what I just saw is what I mentioned earlier, David Overstreet. He'd been just cruising on the inside line. He's popped up to that second lane now. I think now he's thinking, now is my time to try to push to the front here. When they start to jump in, I'll make my big move forward, and then I hit pit road the second time around. So we'll see if that comes into play. But also see now that 61 Ryan Decker, he's actually jumped to the third lane, dropping back here, I think trying to maybe either find a spot on line or just isn't happy with where he is. But yeah, we're really starting to single this field out now. And we'll look out the back here of Sebastian. Remember, I actually got to mention Gabe and Sebastian. They were able to hook up there and get around the 25 Kevin Freese to be able to get towards the very front of the field now. So that's a great break for these two. As you see just off the corner there of Gabe's truck is that number 14 of Vicente Guerrero, also now stuck on the outside line. However, like I said, we're on 15 now, so I'd say about 3, maybe 4 laps here probably before we see pit stops start to occur. And you can see, I mean, you've got pretty much 3/4 of the field here on the outside line, just a few stragglers up top. But like I said, if I'm David Overstreet, I'd be doing the exact same thing. Save, save, save. All right, now everybody's starting to get ready to pit. I'm jumping to the top. I want to get some track position before I make my pit stop, because you can see in the timing and scoring there on the left-hand side there, Robert Rock's in this main pack. However, he's almost 3 seconds off the lead, so any mistake he makes getting in and out of pit road is just going to be that much worse with that 3-second deficit he has going into pit road. So in my mind, I want to be pitting as far forward as I can. Even if it's on the same lap or a lap earlier or later, I want to be pitting from as far forward as I can possibly do. So we'll see if anybody shares that strategy with me or not. But right now, these guys are still holding pretty steady. Not a lot of change right now. Let's see one driver jump back up. That's Ryan Decker once more in that 61. But right now, everybody's holding pretty steady. All right, so no more takers yet coming to 13. Actually, here we go. We do have some takers, some short pit stops. It's going to be Patrick and Seth Gruber hitting pit road together. So we talked about those two. A very, very really talented duo here. So they're going to hit pit road a little early. They said, you know what, we're going to short pit. So they're going to come in a little early. You see the 04 there of Randy Lapidus. He lost the draft, so he's just rolling out of pit road now. And it looks like fuel only for these two trucks. I didn't see any movement from the tires, so I think a fuel only stop for them. So based on that, I'm going to say pit road is going to be a very, very busy place this time. Also, they came out pretty close together, so that's going to be a good opportunity for them. But watch here for the pit road entry. I think it's going to start to get very busy. You'll see a lot of trucks peel left, and yep, here they come. Oh, that was a hustle of an entry there from Sebastian Mayer. We'll see if he got it down to speed. And here comes pretty much the field. So we'll see. So pretty much there's about 8 trucks that stayed out after the cycle. So now everybody's got to try to hit their pit stall. Oh, just a little bit too hot there for Robert Rock. Had to throw it in reverse real quick here. So now this is where this pack here from Rick Sanchez back to Gary Jenkins, they basically need to push as hard as they can this lap and basically make this a very quick in lap. It's a slightly smaller group, though. Like I said, it's about 8 drivers in this field, or in this pack. So this is a good opportunity for them to have a little bit less of a kind of a squished pit stop, if you will. So we'll see them all duck off left, and yeah, here they all come onto pit road. You see Ryan Decker there just trying to make sure he doesn't get in any tough positions. And so far, a little bit of bubble there in the back there. Les Levy, I think, had a little bump there, but able to hang on to it. Maybe a little crinkle on that right rear, but I think he's going to be all right. So now it's going to be all about where drivers come out in relation. But, man, Sebastian Marin, though, he got in and out of pit road in a hurry. And, unfortunately, he is off on his own. But now the two I want to find are the brothers here. Where are the 01 and the 02 trucks? And you can see they are still hooked up together. We'll be able to focus on them here in just a moment. As there they are. They are coming in the back of the picture right there. They'll easily tag onto this main draft, so great job by those two pitting a lap early. That's going to still keep them in that main draft. And as you saw there, it's actually Rick Sanchez who's going to be the first of the last drivers to hit or come out of pit road. So he's going to have to try to really grab some gears here and get up to speed as fast as he can. He's got help with Eric Laurie, but Steele's right there as well. But Sebastian Marin, though, he is going to have the momentum and the draft to pull right on by these guys. But I think these guys should be okay to hang on to. But this is where it's going to get tight here. 3 wide for a moment. Oh, Vicente stuck in the wall there for a second. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there by the 11 and the 64. We're going to stay green, though. That was close call there. Unfortunately, it kind of hurt some of their momentum there. And actually, I'm sorry, I think that was the 01. I believe that actually caught the wall there. A little bit of Patrick Gruber. Apologies. So I think after pit stop cycles complete, I believe we're going to have about 14 trucks in this main pack back to Jim Brooks. So these drivers, job done for them for the moment. Unfortunately, now work to be done, and a big surprise, though, is going to be some of the names that we see in the second pack here. You got Gary Jenkins that's kind of leading this off on his own a little bit, but then I look back here, Gabe Butler in the 88 truck. This is not what you expect to see from Gabe. This is kind of unfamiliar territory for him, and you can see also these guys are running 2x2 right now. There's always two trains of thought. What's faster, single file or two side by side? So we'll have to watch lap times to see which is the quicker approach. But right now up front, though, you can see you pretty much got a single file train going on up front here with Sebastian, Kevin, and Vicente. The first one popping out there is the 02 of Seth Groover, but no takers with him yet. Oh, caution out, actually, and it looks like it was that second pack here, so caution is out. Josh Laston, unfortunately, involved. And we'll wait and see. He's able to grab a gear and get going once more. And that is going to bring the field down to caution speed here for the first time tonight. And I believe also going to be a big break for Randy Lapidus, as that's going to give him one of his laps back. Actually fell to 3 down here. So let's go back here and see what happened to Josh. Because I think it was like we talked about. I think these guys are just getting a little aggressive, trying to get back up into the main pack. And so you see there you see the two kind of the pink trucks there, the 09 up top, the 61 on the inside. So we'll see here. You see Ryan Decker kind of in the middle and drifting to the top, and that's an odd one there. I don't know if the 61 didn't know he was there or what happened, but really I can't say that I see anything done wrong by the 09 of Josh Laston. So odd situation on that one, unfortunately, for Josh. He's going to loop it around here, and that's where the hit was, though. He wasn't too bad of shape, but he hit that rear pretty square, unfortunately. However, like I said, the benefit for him is that we did get a yellow here. Question mark, of course, will be whether or not he's able to get that truck repaired manually. Will he need a fast repair? We'll jump back live, and we can try to take a closer look at that 09 truck, and it doesn't look too bad up front. I think I see a little bit of damage to that right front there, and then the left front, left rear, and then the rear end, a little bit of a center punch too. So I would try fixing it at this point. I think this is a point where you go ahead and you fix that damage without burning a fast repair. But now the question mark is going to be pit road. Do you come or not? And it looks like pretty much everybody's going to go ahead and hop onto pit road as we speak. And I'm seeing no gamblers here trying to keep track position. I think everybody wants to make sure that they don't get themselves caught on a fuel situation. I think we did have actually a little bit of strategy. I see Vicente Guerrero. He's going to swing around up front. I believe he may have just driven through pit road. I know Matt Wagner for a fact did. However, I don't think it worked in the way Matt Wagner was hoping it was going to work. I think his goal was there to drive around and actually get a lap led, however, for that bonus point, but he won't be able to do so, and it's going to go 1 to go next time by, so he's going to have to, I believe, hit pit road here, and basically from here go ahead and basically lose that track position, unfortunately. But I think the pit strategy is probably also for fuel mileage. Looking at the fuel numbers right now, we're on 23 of 75. We'll go back green on 25 of 75, which would give us 51 laps to go. So basically from here, it is definitely a 2-stop to the end. Basically, if they can go 17 laps per tank, which we know is definitely feasible, there's no strategy here. It's a 2-stopper to the end. So I don't think anybody's going to be trying to pull off any crazy fuel mileage plans or anything like that. So I think, like I said, we'll see Matt Wagner hit pit road. I think a lot of these guys behind him are going to stay out. I'm not certain for Vicente if he did pit or not. It looks like, Vicente did hit pit road. They just got a really good in and out lap there. I believe Sebastian must have taken at least 2 tires, because these guys in front of him, they had 5.5 second pit stops. Sebastian had about a 9-second pit stop. So I think that's the difference we're seeing. And it looks like from pretty much, like I mentioned, Matt Wagner on back, these guys go ahead and top off and get a little extra fuel. Matt tried, like I said, I think tried to stay out and get a lap lead, just didn't quite pan out. But now let's go peek over at Josh last, and I want to see how that truck is looking and see if he went ahead and used a fast repair or not. And it's kind of got the fast repair vibes looking to. That front looks real clean. The back looks real clean. Yeah, I'm thinking Josh may have went ahead there, unfortunately, and used his one fast repair. So at this point now, he's got to be careful. He's got to not be too aggressive and not risk getting himself in a bad position there. And honestly, I felt like he was in a great spot where he was. He wasn't in the main pack, unfortunately, but he was kind of just cruising up top and not in a dangerous spot. I think just a mistake or whatever happened with that 61 truck, and that just put him in a bad position, and really nothing he could have done differently at that point. So unfortunately for Josh, like I said, that's also going to cost him the bonus points for an incident-free race. So that will take those 3 points away from him. So that's a tough break for him there as well. As you see the closed circuit there on the side of that truck, and then I believe it was wood. I saw it for a moment, and of course now I can't find a good angle on it, but hopefully we'll get some better looks at that truck as we go to get some sponsorship showing what he's got on there. However, up front though, it's going to be Vicente Guerrero leading the field back to the green. Pace truck is off, waiting for that restart zone. Green flag is out. And man, look at that 510. He was ready for it. I don't think it's going to be any sort of penalties. I think he went as the green came out, so just was quicker on the draw there and through the gears. However, for Vicente, though, he had the draft right on him there, and that is going to be a big advantage for that inside line. But watch the 23, watch 25. They're going to jump one of them. The question is, will it be one or both of them? But I feel like this, yep, there they go. Both. The answer is both of them. That 14 just didn't have the help he was hoping for, and he is just going to get completely swallowed up there by the 23, the 25. Add the 8 to the mix as well. And all three were just about to clear him, but actually Kevin's going to go 2 for 1 here, see if he can also get by Sebastian here. He's going to take the point with help from Dude Conrad. So a great restart there for Kevin Freeze, as now Dude's going to give him a push there. And now Dude actually getting pushed, as he's going to get help from Rick Sanchez now to try to see if he can get to the top. And Bootknocker really is kind of controlling the front of this field now. After all that said and done, you see the 25, the 8, the 510, the 071s right there. Gabe's just starting to creep back into the mix as well. I think that caution a big break for the 88 in my opinion, getting himself back up into the mix here as well. Again, having lost the main pack after that first pit stop, don't expect to see that to happen again from the 88. So I think he kind of got his break. And unfortunately though, we got a couple of drivers off track here, or not off track, but off pace here. The 04 Randy Lapidus, he is already out of the draft as well as Dean Wilkinson on pit road. Not sure if this is a pit penalty or not for the 55, and so he's down and away now. The other one that I was mentioning is Rudy Doden, also losing the draft there. So tough break for some of these guys. Maybe some drivers hadn't caught up in time on the restart, and they basically had to serve the penalty. And say, because there are some things that are clearable. If you get wrecked on the pit road, they'll clear those penalties. However, if it's a mistake on your part, speeding, unsafe exit, things of that nature, unfortunately, those will need to be served. So unfortunately for Dean, that's a big hit for him. I believe that's going to put him a lap down as well, if I'm not mistaken. So Dean now, he's going to need some help here. He's hopefully now actually be able to tag on with Rudy here. If those two can try to work together, it's definitely going to be in their best interest to kind of both minimize the loss of draft. But up front, though, it's getting dicey. It's getting busy. I see the 01 once more here. Peeking to the 02. I apologize. Seth Gruber peeking to the outside, looking at that third lane. Maybe just thinking about it, or just maybe trying to get a good look at what's going on in front of him. But what's going on at the front, though, is Dude Conrad. He's trying to make a push to the front here in that number 8 Gravely truck. So he's having a good run here. And I'll say might be Gravely, might be Gravelly. I'll say hopefully we get an interview with him. We can find out the official pronunciation of that sponsor. That's the last thing I'm going to do is butcher the sponsor names. Going to poke around, find some drivers we haven't had a chance to chat about. One of those is right there. And so you see it on the hood of that truck and all over the place. It says sponsor me. So if you want to sponsor a truck here in the Super Speedway Series, that's 64 of Austin Call. He's looking for someone to help sponsor that truck and make it a little bit less white. And I'll say he's definitely a very talented driver. So he would be one to keep an eye on and say, well, take a good look here out the back so we can see what it says on the back of it. And yeah, so he said he ran out of white paint. So that 64 truck looking for a sponsor. So if you know of anybody, hit him up. But I'll say Austin Call looking for someone to maybe get him some paint so he can put some logos and colors on that truck. Let's jump back a little bit to one of those closed circuit drivers. This is Chris Passini. He is in that one truck. He's dropped a little bit off the back here. Just I think same thing, just playing it safe right now. Right behind Matt Wagner, again, one of those drivers I believe he is working with in the Discord. So watch for those two to probably have similar strategies for what they want to do. So again, I think these guys are just kind of biding their time. Again, a lot of these guys pitted on the one to go. So right now, the drivers that pitted, the furthest up of drivers that topped off on that one to go is actually going to be Gary Jenkins in that 90. So I think he has, let's say, which Game of Thrones paint scheme is that one? That is House Stark on that number 90 Chevrolet. So I'll say I won't do any spoilers just in case. I know it's been out and popular for a while, but you never know who maybe is still watching or trying to catch up on it. But that is the sponsor on the side of that number 90 machine. But he is the first truck to top off on the one to go. So not a bad call. It's like I said, it gives him opportunities here. Maybe it takes a little bit less fuel on his next pit stop, or maybe can go a lap further. Really opens up some opportunities there. Like I said, though, there is no question this will be 2 stops to the end. So these guys cannot one stop it to the end. But back up front, though, Vicente Guerrero, he's trying to work his way back up front. While we were poking around there, we see the 8 truck kind of lost lead of the outside line. Now it's the 14. So you've got a Budweiser front row here. They're really enjoying their sponsorship dollars, because you got the silver version by Kevin Freeze, you got the red and white for Vicente. But either way, they're quite happy with what they've got leading this field. And I want to say I believe that 02 truck, the 01 truck, of Patrick Groover, I think he might be repping them as well. So I'm not sure where the strategy came in from, but man, they've got the sponsorship covered. Let's find Patrick there in the 01. Is it a little bobble there? As we'll look up top here, and there you see the 14. There's the 01, and yeah, one more truck to the stable. So I'd say Budweiser's definitely getting their money's worth out of tonight's race, with 3 trucks in the field, 2 Chevrolets and 1 Ford, and 2 of their trucks right now leading the front of the field right now as we're going to come across the lap 33 of 75. You saw the pace truck driver making a quick appearance there on that camera angle. Want to make sure he got some TV time as well. Looking a little further back, Rudy Donan still on the lead lap. He's got Dean Wilkinson working with him. He's got Randy Lapidus there. Is actually the truck being pushed. Right now you have driver on the lead lap, driver 1 lap down, and driver 2 laps down. Again, lap time-wise, they're definitely about a lap slower than the leaders. However, that's way better than what it could be if it was just one truck by themselves. So they're doing everything that they can to kind of minimize the pain now. However, unfortunately, all 3 of them are going to be having to hope for a yellow to get back in this race. They said especially the 80 and the 55 being 2 of the playoff drivers there, which I haven't brought up actually. I apologize for that. On the left side here, you see on the timing and scoring there, you see the drivers that are in the playoffs here. They are highlighted in green, so you see Kevin Freeze there, Rick Sanchez, Eric Laurie, Seth Groover, all in the top 10. Then you go a little further back, you got Gabe, Bud Steele, Josh Lassen, Matt Wagner. So it's a little bit split of those 12 drivers, who's in the main pack, who isn't, or up front. Gary Winters, Robert Rock as well, and then, like I said, Dean Wilkinson right now, the one who's kind of hurting the most of our playoff contenders that are here tonight. So yeah, that way you can keep a close eye on where all the playoff drivers are this evening, and kind of get a good look. And that'll really tell us a lot about where things are in the point standings. But right now, though, like I said, it's still staying pretty 2x2. These guys holding the pushers are keeping these trucks very, very even as they run. So why don't I'll be quiet here for a minute, let you guys go ahead and watch and listen to these trucks as they blow on through here at very high speeds. All right, as you can see, though, we're starting to single file out a little bit more. Vicente able to clear Kevin Freeze. That's going to now push the 8 to the front of the outside line with help from the 64 of Austin Call. Les Levy right there in the 62 as well. I'm watching Gabe Butler. He's peeking up to the top side. He wants to get some more track position because, again, these guys all pitted around lap 22, 23, went back to green at lap 25, and we are now at lap number 36, now 37. So, again, we talked about the fuel window. These guys are starting to get towards that window again. So, they're already thinking about, hey, where do I want to position my truck once it's time to hit pit road? So, I see the 23 dropping back. I think that 8 is trying to duck in, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to duck himself on in. Watch for Gabe Butler now. Gabe's going to try to find an opening here to somewhere to sneak in as well. Will it be in front of Eric Laurie? And yes, it will be. I kind of saw that gap opening. So what you have right now is you have pretty much a boot knocker train behind that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. You've got the 25, you got the 8, the 23, the 510, the 88, the 071, all in lockstep. Now you see another drop to the inside. That's the 62 of Les Levy. So what we're going to do here, let's run through the field because they are starting to stay single file. That's going to make it really easy for us to spot where our drivers are. And we'll kick it off with that number 14 of Vicente Guerrero, our leader, +5 from his starting position. Right behind him, another fellow Budweiser Chevrolet of Kevin Freeze there in the 25. Started third, currently in second. Then you've got Dude Conrad started in the 5th position, currently up into the 3rd spot there in that 8. Sebastian Marin, our pole sitter tonight, is currently in 4th. Rick Sanchez there in 5th. Started 10th, up to 5th, +5 for him. Then Gabe Butler dropping 2 spots from where he started, but now back up into that top 6 position right in front of him, or right behind him, I should say, is Eric Laurie, the 071 there, sitting in 7th, Les Levy in 8th. And before we can get through the top 10, these guys are starting to go 2 by 2, but David Overstreet sitting in the 9th place for the moment. And as soon as I say that, it's going to now be Seth Gruber that's going to move up to 9th, now 8th, moving his way up the running order there. Right behind him, Ryan Decker in that 61, starting to push a little bit forward as well, +6 from where he started. And now we're going to start jumping around trying to find who we talked about last. Gary Winters there in the the 66 truck, now working his way into that top 10 here, +12 positions for him as things run currently. Right behind him is Bud Steele in that number 10 truck, sitting just outside the top 10 for the moment. You see Jim Brooks starting to tag on there as well in that number 51 machine. Same thing, just outside the top 10. I don't remember if I talked about David Overstreet, Les Levy or not, but there he was. It's a close call between the two of them actually there. Les Levy right now, just now also sitting about 13th or so roughly. David Overstreet now 14th position in that 46. Austin Call, I believe, was way further up there. So he's dropped a little bit now. He's back into 15th. Patrick Groover is in 16th. And then you get to some of these guys that are just kind of in cruise control. Like we talked about Josh Hanner there in the 2. Oh, trouble up front there. Caution is out. You can see as we're running through the field. Oh, one truck up and over there. More trucks getting caught up in this one. And it was at the front because I see Kevin Freeze, I believe I saw in that mix there. And, oh, no, I don't believe that was another shiny truck there. Who did I miss? Oh, the 62's in it. The 10 is in it. Oh, man, this is going to definitely shake things up a little bit. Oh, you see the 66, 64. They're kind of pinned there. Oh, the 60 had to take a tow. Oh, that's going to be a tough break for him. There's 64 is just trying to get off the banking. Now gets rolling. But that is going to put us under yellow here. And see those drivers trying to catch back up the field. They lost the draft. This is a big break for Dean Wilkinson and Rudy Doden as well. Unfortunately, a big hit there for 3. Looks like Seth Gruber, Gary Winters, and Randy Lapidus. Let's go back here as we were running through the field. Let's see what exactly occurred to bring out our second yellow of the night. Looks like Seth actually had to take a tow here. We got to go back and find where it all kicked off. And it looks like it may have been right up at the absolute front here. Ooh, yeah, you already see it there. The 0-2 of Seth Gruber maybe just got a little too close here. Well, oh, I think I already see what happens. So this is a very dangerous thing that happens here. Watch the 23 of Sebastian Marin. He's going to clear the 14 of Vicente. Sebastian's going to drop to the inside, but then watch the McDonald's truck right behind him. He starts to creep down as well. Again, just staying fully focused on the 23. Unfortunately, there was already somebody there. So then That's where the contact happens. Look at Vicente. He takes a wild ride. Oh, right into that 66 as we talked about. You see the 61 sneaks through there. But then, unfortunately, it's a big hits from pretty much there on back. Kevin Freeze just getting by. You see Jim Brooks making a little bit of contact with Eric Laurie. And you got a number of trucks. Oh, look at the 02. Actually, wow, I think a couple trucks drove under him there. We'll jump a little further forward. You see the 09 and the 46 getting hooked on together here as well. And this is where you saw a little bit more contact occur. You see the Gabe Butler, he gets popped by the 88 there as well. Everybody's trying to peek their way through. Looks like the 01 picks his way through fairly nicely. Unfortunately, a number of trucks going to get caught up in this one here, including a number of our championship contenders. So this is going to be a big one here. Whether or not how it's going to make or break some of these guys' trucks, will have to burn the fast repairs. There's going to be a lot to come out here. So pit stops have occurred already for some of our trucks. They're starting to get back settled in here. Kevin Freeze, I do not believe, was actually involved in that wreck. That truck looked pretty clean. Trucks that we know for sure are involved based on the pit stops here. So once we can find an angle to actually show our trucks, there we go. Gary Jenkins getting lengthy damage repairs to his truck. Josh Laston as well. Rudy Doden sitting on pit road as well here. There's the fast repair. You just saw the 66 after his tow. He's just got his clean bill of health, I should say, for his truck. He's going to roll off here. I believe we'll fall to one lap down, but not a second. So that should be an opportunity for him. Waiting for Seth Gruber. Yep, there goes Seth as well. He's going to roll off just in time as well. Gabe Butler had about 25 seconds worth of damage in that number 88 truck. Looks like he's opted to get that manually repaired, as did Eric Laurie. So a number of drivers getting caught up in that one. That being said, lights are already off. We have a number of drivers topping off here on the 1 to go, including Dude Conrad right there in the 8. Jim Brooks is back on pit road as well. So a lot of strategy here. We are on lap 43 of 75. We're going to restart this thing with 33 to go. And again, no strategy here. It's one stop to the end here. Basically, they can go pit with about, again, maybe 17, 18 to go, and they'll be good to the end. So shouldn't be a lot of strategy on that one, but unfortunately, a number of drivers caught up in that incident. Probably some fast repairs getting burned, and unfortunately, I believe may have knocked a few drivers out of the running order. We'll have to double check on that and see. And we also need to see where our field is in relation to one another on the lappers and lead lap. You see Dean Wilkinson, like I said, he got his lap back. A big break for Dean. He's back in it. It looks like Gary Winters and Seth Gruber now both a lap down. So those are two of our playoff contenders now trapped a lap down. That's going to be a very, very important lucky dog battle between these two drivers right here. So they'll need a break. They'll need a yellow, but they got to also make sure that they get through one another as well. So that's going to be a pretty big fight, I believe, for these guys. But up front, though, you see Sebastian Marin, he's already down on the apron, probably saving a little bit of fuel here, making sure that he has enough to go the distance, and then, of course, maybe banking on those green-white checkers. So we'll see if that comes into play or not. But we are about to hand it back over to that number 23 as they come out of turn 4 into the tri-oval. Pace truck is off, handing it back to the 23, 25 front row, 5, 10, 10 in the second row. Green flag is out. We are back underway here. Now it's all about who can get the push. And look who's starting to creep into the picture here. David Overstreet now just outside the top 5 in the 46. Matt Wagner as well in the 11. They are able to get through that wreck, and they are now in the thick of this one here. So big move by the 23. Jumps to the top there. He's going to try to pick up Kevin Freeze here and make a charge back to the front. And unfortunately, a few of these trucks did not get back caught up to the field here. I see a number of trucks that are kind of off on their own right now. Dude Conrad in the 8 truck is just entering turn 3 about now. Dean Wilkinson just coming out of turn 2 right now. And Josh Lassen back on the pit road in the 09 truck. And that is not what you wanted to see for him. So this is going to be a tough one for him. He's going to now drop a lap down. We'll see if it's maybe a fast repair or what happened. Actually, it looks like he had to take a tow potentially. So unfortunately, tough break for the 09. Not the way he wanted to start off his playoffs in the 09. So we'll keep an eye and see if he gets back out on track. But that's going to be a tough one to start off the way the playoff here. All right, so this time around we were going to be down to 30 laps remaining in the 75 lap scheduled race. And like I said, this has been pretty much this front row. This has been really who has been controlling this race. I feel like it's been the 23 and the 25. They've really been kind of out in force most of this race, but the supporting cast is starting to change now. You see the 10 of Bud Steele. He's kind of put his name right back into the hat. Rick Sanchez in 510. He's joined the party as well. The 14 Vicente, he's been up there as well for a little while. Ooh, you see Rudy Doden here. He's actually dropping to the apron. He wants to get a little further back here. He's not ready for this yet. So he's going to drop back. The Lucky Dog battle, though, Gary Winters, Seth Groover, it just right there switched. It was Gary leading the 0-2 for the Lucky Dog. Now Seth back around. So if there's a yellow, as long as they're not involved, Seth would be in that Lucky Dog position. So that's going to be a fight between the two of them for sure. But yeah, up front, though, these guys have kind of been in control of this field for a little while here. Like I said, Matt Wagner, he's kind of put his name into the hat here as well. And that's going to be the question as well, as at some point, do we see these drivers say, hey, these guys have been controlling this race for a lot longer than I'd rather it be. I want to get up there. I want to lead a lap. We know Matt Wagner, he wants to get a bonus point. That would be the next question, is who has or has not led a lap yet in this race? Because, again, bonus points are going to be a big part of who may or may not win this championship. So watch for the strategy. See, Bud there was maybe thinking about peeking up to that third lane there, but no real help yet as where he runs. So, like I said, pit stops, there's still one more to go in this race. Again, Bud's peeking up to that third lane. Not sure if that's showing Matt like, hey, if you want to go, I'm willing to go with you. But they're definitely starting to show a little bit more nose here. And I see that 2 truck as well, Joshua Hanner, behind Matt Wagner. I'm pretty sure that 2 will go where that 11 goes. So I would expect to see those 2 lock on together once they get the opportunity. However, it's Richard Sanchez right now. He's been getting some really good pushing from that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. So he's been kind of vying for that front spot here between himself and that 23 of Sebastian Marin. But right now, it's been pretty much, like I said, I feel like it's been the 23 and 25 most of the evening tonight. Also, can mention Dude Conrad. He has found some help here. He's picked up the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. However, they're about leaders are at the line there as they were entering turn 1, so they are not very safe where they are in track. So they're going to be hoping, again, they need a yellow for themselves to get back into it. Unfortunately, we saw the 80 truck of Rudy Doden left the draft. That's cost him the draft, so he is now fallen off this main pack as well, which now leaves us 18 drivers in this main pack. Robert Rock needs to be a little careful as he's just drifting back a little bit off these guys, and he does not have any help behind him. So he's got to make sure he doesn't drop too much further as well. But up front, you see Sebastian now. He's dropped back to the inside line in front of that 510. So right now, these guys continuing to kind of lead the way and control the pace of this race. And I say we still got a little bit more, about 10 more laps, I'd say, before that pit window officially opens. Maybe 9 if you want to stretch it. We'll see. The question will be, how far do these guys want to go before they hit pit road? But Sebastian, though, he's just trying to work both lanes, it looks like. He jumps to the bottom there. Now he's going to jump up top, pick up the 25. And then I say we'll see if he gets another surge here. But that does open up some opportunities for Vicente. If he could maybe Sebastian jump himself to the top. But right now, I don't think he's too worried about it yet. And again, I think right now advantage probably goes to being on the inside line, as again probably another 10 laps or so before we start to see our final scheduled green flag pit stops. As look at Gabe Butler, he thought about the middle. He's going to commit, so he's going to go top here in the 88. I think he wants to try to push these guys on through, and I think you're seeing a lot of drivers realize, hey, the outside's about to pick up momentum, and you see right there the 23, the 25 starting to get a big shove down the back here. The 23 is clear. He's going to drop low now. The 25 and the 88 going to try to hook together. Is close there entering turn 1. Apologies. As you can see, everybody's starting to jockey around a little bit. And look at the gap now between the 88 and the 25 on Bud Steele and the 10. They've fallen off a little bit here. But up front, these guys stay very, very even. And again, you start to see the green drivers here starting to kind of creep towards the front a little bit. And I think you see Matt Wagner and the 2 truck there. Again, I see him peeking up a little bit. I don't know if that's thinking about that third lane or if that's just them trying to get a better view of what's going on out front. So we'll have to keep an eye and see. But right now, it's really You see those two trucks up top there. They're really hooked on together, but then you've got about a truck and a half length gap to Bud Steele, so that's not going to help their momentum. But I think Bud is looking at fuel mileage as well in that 10 truck. He knows he's got to make sure he can make it to the end. And also right now he doesn't want to get himself pinned in a bad spot. Ooh, close there between that 510, I believe, and the 88 there through 1 and 2, as these guys continue to stay side by side here down the back. So I think now the question will be kind of, once we get to that window, who will blink first? Because there's a lot of opportunities here for strategy. Lucky Dog battle, I can let you know that at the moment, it's actually now Gary Winters over Seth Groover. Seth has actually dropped to the back of this main pack, so you got Gary now up in the top side there in that 66 truck. So right now Gary's in a good position, but of course the concern is if there's an incident, he is in a spot where it's a little harder to avoid any potential wrecks. And you also see that we're going to add 2 more to the mix here soon, as we're going to be picking up Dude Conrad and Dean Wilkinson, as they're just about to start to pick up the draft to get lapped here. So it looks like they'll probably get put a lap down right around the pit stop window with those two. So usually what we'll see here at Daytona is those trucks, especially if they're 2x2, the lap trucks will jump to the top, stay up against the wall, let the lead pack on by. But again, though, I mean, for Dean, he's got to be a little bit aggressive. He's got to make sure he doesn't risk losing the Lucky Dog position as well. So really, big bobble there by the 510 and the 23 with that big push through Trioval. But I mean, it's three trucks vying for that Lucky Dog that are going to be playoff contenders. So you see the 20 truck the 55 truck and 20th. You got the 22 truck, and then you got the 23 truck. So they're all in. And unfortunately, you see Josh Lassen has indeed retired, and there's exactly what we said there. The 55 here, and I was going to say that's an opportunity. He could actually have snuck in there right in front of Bud Steele, chose not to. And you can see it's going to get a little tight here through the mid-pack here, because this is where you have to go 3x3. And saying you can do it, it's just a little tight. You see a big bobble by the 66. He's going to hang on to it, and they should just clear. And there they go. They clear, and you see Dean immediately drops right behind that 66 truck. So right now, Dean now the second truck a lap down right behind that truck he is following. Right now still is Gary Winters sitting in that Lucky Dog position, but we're starting to shuffle around a little bit here. Look at Kevin Freeze way up top here. I think Kevin might be, not sure if he's trying to drop to the back or what's going on here. I don't know if Kevin's got an issue or not. Well, this is really unexpected. You see Gabe Butler, he dropped to the inside line as well. So we'll keep an eye on Kevin here for a moment to see if there's something wrong, or is he going to squeeze in front of the 66 there. But yeah, an odd situation there for Kevin. Not sure if he had a hiccup or what was going on there, but I'm starting to see a lot of trucks now start to drop to the inside line here, and that's going to start to shake up the pace of this race. You see Bud Steele, he's going to jump to the top here, maybe try to lead the outside line. You saw Matt Wagner jump down low as well, right behind Eric Laurie. So everybody's starting to kind of, again, get a little antsy, I feel like. So Patrick Groover, he's right up there in the thick of this one as well. But yeah, not sure what happened to Kevin there. If maybe a little bit of either a connection hiccup, a hardware issue, because now it seems like he's just grabbed another gear and he's going right back out to the front here. But up front, though, it's actually Bud Steele getting a great push from that number 2 of Joshua Hanner. Wasn't able to clear the 23 yet, but is definitely getting himself in a close position to have a chance. But as I say that, again, everybody's starting to kind of abandon ship, get to the inside line, so that's going to slow down the outside lane, not have the momentum that they'd be hoping for. So I'll have to keep an eye on those guys. See the 01, he's now dropped low as well. The next truck in line on the outside is that 66 of Rudy Doden, as we're down to 19 to go. So that pit window here, I believe next time is going to make it where they can make it to the end. And no, Chris, this will actually be whoever does the best out of the 4 races. So it'll be like kind of like the original NASCAR playoffs, where basically who did the best out of those final 10 races will be the champion. No elimination rounds or anything like that. I think they tried it once, and it was more preferred to just not have a winner-take-all finale, but who can do the best out of the final 4 races. So it's almost a season split up into thirds, if you will, where you get 2/3 of a regular season and the 1/3 of the playoffs. So, but yeah, up front, though, Bud Steele now leading the outside line. Now you got 4 trucks together here up top, the 10, the 2, the 66, and the 61. Again, right now 66 still sitting in that Lucky Dog position. or no, I'm sorry. Actually, no, the 02 here is sitting in the lucky dog position. Seth Groover actually was able to get around the 01 onto the inside line. So apologies. I was focused on Patrick at one point, but Seth actually able to sneak up in there. So great moves by the 02 McDonald's truck to get back in that lucky dog position. They're also about to add another truck to the lap down counter, and that's going to be the 80 of Rudy Doden. You mentioned he lost the draft, and so now he's just been running by himself. Now he's about to get swallowed up here in just another lap or two. But I think we'll see any takers yet. Nope, no short pit stops here. So everybody's going to go a little further. So we know from here on out, these guys can make it to the end on fuel schedule distance. Can they make it green white checkers? I'm not certain about that. So that's going to be the strategy also. And actually, Rudy on pit road here. So the 80 truck sitting in pit road already. So it's going to be a risk versus reward now of what you want to do. Do you want to gamble for going green to the end and maybe having to take a splash if we get to green white checkers? Oh, I'm watching Bud Steele here. Let me go back, find that number 10 truck. He is trying any way he desperately can to find a way to squeeze in line, and nobody's wanting to give him any openings here, and just has not been able to find a way down. You see the 61 doing the same. I think Bud needs the pit this time by. He just doesn't have an opening to do so. And, oh, this is where things get sketchy. Oh, my goodness. Bud's going to come in way too hot here. He's going to slide it. Oh, right in front of the trucks. Oh, catches the 2, the 510 Kevin Freeze. Oh, it's a pile up on the pit entry. There's going to, unfortunately, be a number of drivers frustrated about that one. Just because, again, everybody was trying to pit at that exact same time. And we saw it recently where we saw the same thing happen. Everybody was they had to get on pit road that time by. And unfortunately, it wound up burning a handful of them. In this case, it was the same thing for Bud Steele. So that's going to be a frustrating one for some drivers. Obviously, like I said, he was trying to get himself in. And you see right there also the 04 trying to squeeze in. He can't do it. These guys are going to go an extra lap here. Ryan Decker, Jim Brooks, David Overstreet, all hitting pit road. They're going to come in this time around here with coming to 15 to go. You see a much smaller crowd. They're able to kind of stagger out. Should be a much cleaner, safer pit road entry. Now just have to hope they didn't lose too much time to the leaders that pitted that previous time. Whereas up front, though, it's actually Patrick Groover who's going to be the quickest out of pit road. But right behind him, you see Sebastian Marin, Austin Call, Gabe Butler. They are catching back up. So, and also I see the 02 there of Seth Groover. Again, he's still trapped a lap down, but he's still sitting as the best of those on pit road, or sorry, of a lap down right now. So, and I think that's exactly what what these guys are doing here is they're trying to get themselves organized and figured out here. So as you see, Jim Brooks, actually, he's going to win the race off of pit road. But here come the leaders with a big head of steam as those guys are just coming out of pit road now. And so I think it's going to be pretty much this lead pack getting swallowed up. Maybe have a chance to tag onto the back of these 6. We'll have to wait and see. But right now it looks like it might be these 6 trucks with the breakaway. Although we'll see if the 61-51, if they can stay locked on together here, there is a good chance there. You see Jim's trying to steal a little draft off those 2 in front of him. We'll see. This might be a little bit of a train where everybody starts to catch one another. But, man, once it's pain window time, here comes Gabe Butler. He's found his way to the front. He's got Eric Laurie behind him. The 01 there of Patrick Groover behind him. And then Chris Passini, haven't talked about him a ton, but now he's right into the mix there. And then we mentioned the 02 right now. Still a lap down, but he's trying to stay in that lucky dog position there. So say he is doing everything he can in that 02 machine. And then we'll jump back to Jim Brooks, Ryan Decker, and they're going to hang on to it. The gap's going the right way, so put these guys back in the mix. These guys are going to have a chance to try to go after this win tonight, pending it staying green. Otherwise, that's going to change a whole scheme of things. Then you got to go back about 3 seconds to these 3 trucks right here. Les Levy, Matt Wagner, David Overstreet, and then it's really spread out here. Looks like a driver that unfortunately got caught on pit road speeding is Vicente Guerrero. Say that is just a heartbreaker for him. He was doing so well early on, but we'll jump back up front because, yeah, here you go. Jim and Ryan have caught these guys. So right now you have 8 lead lap trucks in this pack right now with 13 to go. You see Gabe Butler has now led a lap officially. Not sure if he did earlier or not, but we know he has for sure now. And you see Jim Brooks, Ryan Decker jumping to the top there as well to try to gain some spots. So let's go back now. Those that lost the draft, we just mentioned these ones here, Les Levy and Matt Wagner. David Overstreet looks like he's got a little bit of lingering damage, so he's not able to keep up with these guys at the moment. Then it's a bunch of single file trucks that just haven't been able to find any friends right now. Gary Jenkins, we saw Kevin Freese caught up in that pit road incident there. That's what cost him, I believe, the draft. Then you got Robert Rock with Rick Sanchez right there with him, and then a couple trucks, I believe, a lap or so down. And then it's just all staggered. You see Bud Steele, he's off on his own right now. We saw Vicente. Here's Seth Groover again. Right now, the first truck one down, about to catch Vicente to put Vicente a lap down, and watch for the 14. He'll probably jump to the wall, and yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Again, the respect we see out of these guys. And then shout out right now, I mean, Dude Conrad, actually, that number 8 truck, actually, he just is about to put himself now in the spot, in the vying for that lucky dog position, because last time by, he and Dean Wilkinson, they just ran, so I should say, Dude ran the fastest lap of the race, a 46.54, compared to a 47.58 to leader, so a full second quicker by the 8 truck with help from the 55. So now the lucky dog battle is going to be between the 02, the 8, the 55, and the 14. So we've got a battle within a battle here as we're coming down to it here. 11 to go at the line. Again, this is the main pack, which will be for the win if we stay green. If there's a caution, just throw all your notes and paperwork away. It's at that point, who knows? But what we can say for sure is you've got 3 boot knockers up front there, the 88, the 23, and the 071. Gabe and Eric being playoff contenders. Actually, if you look at that, they are the only 2 playoff contenders in the top 10 as we run. So that last pit stop miscue really shook things up a bunch. You see Matt Wagner is actually the best of the rest there in 11th, and you see leading a bunch of trucks behind him. But look at the 14 there. Saw Vicente Guerrero. He was actually peeking to the 3rd lane here. I think knowing, hey, I need to try to have a chance to get that lucky dog. I got to find a way to get around that 02 truck. So Vicente going to see if he can maybe make something happen here himself. But we're down to it here, 10 to go. Right now still is the 02 in the luckiest dog spot for the moment, but he saw that move. He's going to jump up top here, I think, to block it. Or maybe those two are going to maybe try to hook up together. I really don't know who's going to have what strategies here. They're about to come up on another truck there, and I believe that is going to be the 10 of Bud Steele. And yeah, indeed it is, and that's going to put Bud also actually a lap down. So we'll see if Bud can tag onto this pack or not. That will be huge for his hopes as well, as right now he's sitting trapped a lap down. As you see, I think it looks like Dean Wilkinson, I was thinking maybe he was going to pick him up. It looks like he's going to stay put. But yeah, right now it's really between Eric Laurie and Gabe Butler. They've kind of been bouncing back and forth a little bit. But this is where now, again, we talk about teamwork, talk about team strategy. Look at the 14, though. I say we're down single digits here, but he's thinking, you know what? I'm not going for the lucky dog here. I'm going to see if I can just unlap myself here. And he is picking up that 61 of Ryan Decker. And these guys are getting dicey. You'd think with the small packs, like, hey, let's play it cool, play it easy here because we could settle it amongst ourselves. There's other strategies going on in play right now. And you see Ryan Decker, actually, he is going to push. Oh, my goodness, push and then some, that 14 in front of that 071 of Eric Laurie, and man, that was some saves and a half by a couple of those drivers. So now put Vicente in that lucky dog spot with that big push there, as they're about to catch, I believe that is Randy Lapidus there in that Napa truck. And they'll say Randy's going to actually drop to the apron here, let these guys go on by, and then try to hop back up onto the track. So again, appreciate the respect being given by these guys that are off pace and just didn't have the draft, unfortunately. I said usually you'll see 2 options. One's the top, one's the bottom. And these guys opted to go to the top. And now, anything you can do, I can do better. Seth Groover said he saw with the 14 they'd say, well, hey, man, I got to get up there too if I want to have a chance at this big pushes. And actually, you can see these guys, oh, man, this is starting to get a little bit intense. And the crazy part is these big moves aren't for the lead. These are big moves that are being made to try to get your lap back or be the first truck a lap down in case of a yellow. We saw the 14 made those big moves. He got himself in that position. Now he's actually pushing ahead to be the tail end of the lead lap, which would put the lucky dog back into the hands of the 02. And then you got one that just disappeared in the middle of the pack. That's always a scary situation there. Oh, you got 2 trucks actually sitting inside of one another here. The one and the 01, and yeah, the 01 had to blink. He had to drop out of that. He did not want to get wrecked there. And I think that's why we saw the 01 back it down as well. So, oh man, another close call here. And unfortunately for the 02, that means he's lost all of his help on the outside lane. So he's going to have to try to recover and kind of reorganize, see what he wants to do. But right now, so the leaders in this pack here, you see again on the top left, you got Gabe Butler leading, Sebastian Marin, Eric Laurie there in third. You got Ryan Decker in that white and pink truck there in fourth. Austin Call in that white truck that wants a sponsor. So again, if you want a top 5 driving truck right now, looking for a sponsorship, watch for that 64. Got Jim Brooks there sitting in 6th, Patrick Groover in the 01 in 7th, and then Chris Passini in 8th in that one truck. And you see the Groover brothers, they're finding each other here. This is not unexpected here. This is where Patrick said, you know what, Seth, get to the top. I'm going to push you. And it looks like they're going to bring Chris Passini along for the ride with them to pick up that third truck. So this is where things are going to start to get even more dicey as these guys are just wiggling down the backstretch here. But that push is working. The 02 has gone alongside the 14. And this is just, it's pinned our championship contenders and our chances of winners here. Sebastian Marin, he can't go anywhere. Eric Laurie, he can't go anywhere. Right now, our lead trucks here going for the win are kind of pinned between a couple lap trucks as we're down to 5 to go. But again, I mean, with the championship on the line, you don't know how it's going to shake out. As right now, the 02 had just a nose ahead, was on the tail end of the lead lap for a split second. Now Vicente's tail end of the lead lap. Oh, this is, if I'm Jim Brooks here, I'm backing it down a little bit because, man, this could be one you could sneak through because we are 3 by 3, 3 rows deep. 5 to go here, coming to 4th the line. Yeah, Karen, I'll say it's gonna be tight for that caution because if it comes out the right time, it's perfect. If it doesn't, Seth is gonna be in a tough spot. But you can tell, I mean, Patrick is doing absolutely everything in his power to try to get him up. There's a big wiggle there, just keeps it off the wall. You saw Patrick had to react there and had to slow down to avoid wrecking his brother, and that's gonna cost them all that momentum that they had just worked so hard to build back up there. And so they're going to reset here, and we'll see. Maybe they actually switch positions here. It might turn into Patrick actually trying to push, Seth pushing Patrick. But no, actually, they're going to stay in line as they are. So back to 2 by 2 for Le Mans with 4 to go. Looking still, Matt Wagner still sits in 11th. So not a big change with he and David Overstreet. They're about 16 seconds off the back. So not trying to ignore those guys, but this is where everything is happening right now for the win for Lucky Dogs. So say not apologies to those guys, but this is where I think we really need to be focused. Oh, a little contact. Eric Laurie there in the 01. They have a little bobble. That's going to slow the inside lane a little bit. The middle lane, I should say. That's going to push the 02 possibly clear here. Can he clear the 14? He can. He's going to clear him. Can he clear the 88? No. He's going to stay in front of the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. So again, that middle lane is consisting of 2 trucks that are a lap down or on the tail end of the lead lap. But again, though, I mean, this is, if there's a yellow, this is exactly what Seth needs. So he's got to stay aggressive. And it's one of those, it's, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I think he feels like he has to take this risk. But look at up front, though. Now the one just shoving the 02 here. Or sorry, the one pushing the 01, I apologize. See, maybe these guys are going for the win up top there, the 01 and the 1. These guys on the lead lap going for it all here. But we still got to go another full lap here to get that white flag, and then it will be an official race, because after that, the white flag, it's basically who can get to the line first. So we'll see, 2 to go. Can they make it one more lap clean here? And it is still tight up front here, as these guys are just near going door to door with each other. Just a little bit of movement. Everybody's pushing a little harder, getting a little more aggressive. It's getting wild here as we got a lap and a half to go in this race. All right, here's a big move. Vicente. He's going to jump to the top here again. This is now at this point with the white flag about to fly. Now this is an official race. So actually a little surprised to see this move by Vicente. Trouble. Oh, big wreck in front of him. Who can get through? Right now Gabe is able to get by, but we were one to go. So they got to race back to the finish. So right now it's Gabe Butler over Patrick Groover. Eric Laurie still in the mix here as well. Jim Brooks looks like he has lost the momentum that he needed there to try to keep up with those guys. So now it's the question of what can Gabe do to hold off the 01? Can Eric Laurie get back into the mix as well? It looks like actually the 64 Austin Call, he's back in it as well. So, well, we're going to watch right here. So unfortunately, like I said, once the white flag comes out, any caution that happens, any wreck, that's going to just keep it green to the end. So can Gabe Butler, can he hold off that 01 or the 071. You see Gabe's trying to make some moves, trying to block there to slow the momentum down. The 071, he's going to try to sneak low. Gabe's going to win race number 1 of the playoffs. 01 of Patrick Groover going to get second. Eric Laurie third. And it's going to bring home Austin Call and Jim Brooks rounds out our top 5. And it looks like it's going to be Kevin Freeze at the moment. Looks like he's going to somehow recover into a 6th position there. Great recovery for him. And I think there was some stuff that maybe happened in the second pack towards the end of that race, because that was a wild one. Let's go back and watch all the chaos here coming to the end here. So we'll focus up front here. I think, unfortunately, the one who got the worst end out of all that was probably the 23 of Sebastian Marin. So we'll keep an eye on Seabass here. And just, it's like I said, this is going to be one that's these guys are going to talk about a little bit, because there's going to be some frustration. It's like, well, hey, wait a second. Once we got to the white flag, you guys were going after it even though you didn't need to. So it's yeah, this is going to be a hard one for some drivers to figure out how it should have been. But you see, I think the 01 just big push to the 14 that got him loose, and that got them down into Sebastian. You see the 61 Ryan Decker just trying to hang on to it, and actually the 01 kind of just goes in. Oh, poor Sebastian there. He just gets thrown up and over there. So I'm sorry, Seabass. That was you got done wrong there. Then you see these guys all trying to sneak through there. You see the one truck go around Dean Wilkinson, caught up Bud Steele. You saw Jim Brooks. He just poked through there. And this whole time, I mean, I'm looking, where's Austin Call in this whole incident? Oh, and that's right there. This is what cost Jim all his momentum, was he just that transition between the banking. He just had to wheel that thing to hang on to it. But now, again, I'm looking for Austin. He is nowhere on the track right now, because he'd been blinking a little bit here and there. At some point, he's going to pop back up here in the 4th position. So, but yeah, and I think at some point too, there was some big moves going on with this group here. Unfortunately, I said weren't able to catch it, but then it was the dash to the finish here, and it was Gabe Butler able to hold off Patrick and Eric here to get the win. And I said he's going for that title. He's had a great season. He wants to get it all. So before we get to those interviews, though, let's pull up our final race results here. As man, that was a wild one there coming to the end. As you can see, Gabe Butler getting the win over Patrick Groover, Eric Laurie there in 3rd, Austin Call and Jim Brooks rounding out our top 5. And like I said, you see the gap there. And again, that was all just due to the pit roads mishap, as we've seen now a couple times, where just some drivers felt like they had to pit from where they were. There's just, they didn't have an option. So that unfortunately cost a few drivers. Kevin Freeze, I think, probably wishes he had that pit stop cycle back to not be caught up in that one. Rick Sanchez, Robert Rock, Matt Wagner, Les Levy. So still a couple of playoff drivers there getting back into the top 10. So great job by them. Taking advantage, of course, from difficulties and hardships from Ryan Decker, caught up in that last wreck. Chris Passini as well. Then you got David Overstreet 13th, Gary Jenkins, Sebastian Marin, unfortunately, going to wind up in that 15th spot just due to how he got his final hit there at the end. So it was a tough break for Seabass, but I mean, he's just going for the wins. So points-wise, not a big deal for him. Dean Wilkinson, Bud Steele, see them 16th, 17th. Dude Conrad sitting in 18th. And then we'll jump through the remainder of our running order here. You got Seth Groover there in 19th, Vicente Guerrero in 20th. Not the nights they're hoping for. Then Gary Winters, Rudy Doden, Randy Lapidus, Josh Hanner, Josh Laston, Michael Mayu, Jimmy Crawford, and Brandon Briggs. Those 3 did not start tonight, but man, that was a wild one, especially at the end. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the thoughts and the feedback, where you see the 01, he was trying to make some moves up top. Gabe went ahead and protected, and then Eric made a late lunge to get down to the inside line, see if he could grab second, but he was still wound up finishing in 3rd. So we're going to kick it off with Eric Laurie. So we're going to pull Eric on in here. Eric, you started in 8th, finishing in 3rd. And man, I'm going to say the last pit stop was kind of what made or broke the race for a lot of you guys. Let's say it was some drivers getting involved in the pit road entry incidents and then spreading out the field. And then, man, I mean, how do you manage that at the end, where you've got drivers that are on the lead lap, drivers trying to get their lucky dog back? I mean, you look like you're in the perfect spot for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're kind of pinned behind 2 trucks that are fighting for the lucky dog battle. I mean, do you playoff does playoffs come into it? Say, hey, I'm just going to let these guys go nuts because I want to make sure I'm around at the end, or I mean, how do you how do you sort out all that craziness on that final dash to the finish there?
Well, I guess you just pucker up and go for it. But trouble is, the lap cars, get around you, and it's really kind of hard to push them a little bit, and especially when you got worn out tires, and just it's it's really hard, especially when you're in center now too. Trying to hold your line and keep everybody else from bumping into you, or the car blinking into you all the time.
Yeah, there's definitely some connection issues too that were you could tell were definitely making things a little nervous there as well. But I mean, was that basically kind of maybe the best that you could have hoped for tonight with the way everything was going tonight?
Yes, I was happy right where I was going to finish anyway. You know, I didn't really want to push things too bad, try to push some lap cars out in front and, and try to cause a problem, even for my teammate there. And so I just kind of said, I'm just going to ride here.
Well, I mean, it looks like you made the right calls. You're able to kind of sneak through all that chaos and have a chance still to go for that top two or even the win here tonight. But still able to bring it home. I mean, a really good start, obviously, for the playoffs to bring it home in third. So a great way to kick off that 4-race playoff. So definitely want to give you the floor here, Eric, for any thanks and shout outs.
Well, I definitely want to thank you guys for you guys putting up with us in here. Uh, Area 51's been a great team race league to be in. Just can't thank them enough, and all my teammates. They know who they are. So it was a wonderful night.
Well, great job, Eric. It was a lot of fun watching you, man, and look forward to see what you got the rest of the way.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, that was Eric Laurie there. So now we're going to jump up to our runner up finish. And he tried, he was making moves, just couldn't find a way around. And it probably didn't help that truck was a little bit dented there at the end. But I mean, Patrick, it was obvious that the goal was to try to help Seth out. But then unfortunately things didn't quite pan out at the end, and then you started trying to make some moves and see if you could peek around Gabe there, maybe snag one at the end for yourself. So I mean, it was intense there. I mean, between Eric or sorry, Seth going for the lucky dog, then Vicente
Yeah.
was in the mix there. I mean, how tense was it? I mean, how on your toes were you guys trying to figure out, like, okay, wait, at what point do we just kind of every man for yourself kind of a situation?
Yeah, it was basically that situation for me because I had two lap down cars in front of me, and so I was just trying to get, I did all I could to just try and get up there in front of those lap cars, and I was hoping because that if I was in front of them, then I would automatically, or even behind them, I would have gotten a better position. But yeah, that it was a fun race though.
No, I mean it was definitely wild there at the end. Like I said, I mean you guys were 3x3, a couple rows deep at one point, and then like I said, it was like, okay, well, wait a second, two of those trucks up on the top side are a lap down, so really it's Gabe that's got the inside line, then it's got Seth, and then it's got Vicente,
Right.
and so yeah, it was definitely kind of a crazy situation. But I mean, again, you don't know if and when those cautions are coming out. And say, obviously, I mean, selfishly, of course, we always love having you on the track, and I'm sure Mom does too. But I'm guessing probably the little extra kind of you showing up was maybe to help Seth out tonight. Was that kind of goal number one, or was it also just like, hey, my calendar's free, let's go do this?
Yeah, it was goal number one to help Seth. Unfortunately, he was a lap down. I'm not even sure what happened to him. So I was just kind of trying to help him get the lucky dog. Him and Vincente were battling up there, and so I knew one of them might get it if the caution came out, but it didn't come out. So, um, yeah,
Yeah, it was a wild one, but like I said, you guys got to the white and as saying just in time because I mean I think just a couple hundred feet earlier, and that probably would have brought the caution out for a crazy green light checker there at the end. But
yeah,
able to bring it home with the runner up. I think also getting the highest climber of the night too, starting in 18th, coming home second. So great job working your way up the field as well. So yeah, so before we let you go and kind of debrief with everybody, I'll say definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight.
yeah. Good win, Gabe. And then thanks for having me, Area 51 here. It's a great league, and Great, great race to everybody, all the drivers. Great job. You're all awesome, and thanks for broadcasting, man.
You forgot one more person.
Oh, my brother.
No.
Oh,
Come on.
oh, Gaio.
No. Mom.
Oh yeah, my mom. Yeah, yeah. All right. Hi, mom.
Yeah, I don't want you to get in trouble. So yeah, I say she's one of our most dedicated viewers. So yeah, definitely don't get in trouble with mom there.
Yep.
Great job tonight, though, Patrick. Look forward to hopefully seeing you on track some more, man.
Yep. Thanks, man. All right. See ya.
All right, so I tried, Mom. So hopefully it doesn't get in too much trouble. But now, if there's a will, there's a way, and it's going to be Gabe Butler getting the win tonight, Gabe. And man, what a chaotic one tonight. I mean, it seemed like everything was all kind of calm, cool, and collected that first, maybe third half of the race, and it just kicked off at the pit stops. Unfortunately, I say you could see some drivers knew that they needed to get to the inside. They weren't going to be able to make that extra lap of fuel, but obviously, I mean, at that point, everybody's like, well, I don't want to give up my track position to let somebody in, so everybody's going to get greedy at the end. And unfortunately, it cost a couple of your teammates some track position and the main pack there at the end, and then it's a battle between you. You've got a teammate in there. You've got some lap down trucks trying to vie for that lucky dog position. I mean, how are you managing trying to figure out what you needed to do to keep yourself in the best spot? Or was it kind of just like, hey, I'm just going to ride the bottom on that yellow line because I've got Sebastian behind me and we'll see how it shakes out? I mean, there was a lot going on there at the end.
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff going on at the end, like you said. But yeah, I figured Seabass would stay committed, and he did. And but it was tough with those lap cars on our outside and 3 wide at some points in it. So yeah, I knew Seabass would do his best, and he did a fantastic job pushing. And I really got to give him credit for that. And of course, yeah, that pit stop stuff was just a mess there at the end. I think somebody pitted from the outside lane. But I mean, Kevin would have been in that position too. He was going to have to pit, and he pretty much rolled all the way to the back to get in line. And that's what you got to do. Just can't come in from the second line like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I think it's the second time in kind of recent that's been happening. So it seems like, I mean, do you think it's just kind of the not the aggression really ramping up, but more of just like you feel like you got to get every little bit you can in these races, and so you don't want to give up that track position? I mean, do you think that's what's causing these things to happen, or because I mean, it just seems like it's definitely been, everything's kind of been turned up a little bit more from the 10 to 11 kind of a situation.
Well, it's definitely more intense and more aggression out there. But again, you just got to use your head a little bit. That's all, and just realize, if you're in the second lane, you're not going to make another lap. Just get out of it. Give yourself a lap or two to try and get in line somewhere. And I mean, there's not too much else you can say about it, but just hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, so it was unfortunate for sure, and it definitely, I think, kind of shook up the running order there and made it, to me at least, really interesting the way it was lined up with the various groups in the positions. But and then of course then you cross the wire. Okay, we've got it to the end, and then you see just everybody starting to lose it behind you there. The spin and everything coming to the white there. Do you start to get nervous that you've got too big of a lead with Patrick behind you? I mean, or do you even know kind of who's where in relation to you at that point? Or I mean, what's going through your mind when you see that, the gap and then a couple cars kind of in your mirror there?
Well, it's kind of always scary when there's a big wreck like that and you think you're the only one that's cleared it, and then you see these big headlights in your rearview mirror, and it was Patrick, and I think Eric might have been behind him, which he was. So I figured, if anything, I mean, knowing Patrick, he likes to win races, and I was prepared to block a little bit, but not die doing it, but just try and get the win and get a good start here.
Yeah, I mean, and saying that's exactly what you did. You were able to kind of squeeze them up a little bit high, and then you're able to kind of cut back down to make sure, like I said, to kind of try to protect that win. And so I mean, you did everything right there at the end, because I mean, those are hard to protect against, because you don't know what move they're going to make. And like I said, they kind of might have a little bit of an extra head of steam on you. And so, yeah, it's obviously a really, really tricky situation to be in on those ones. But I mean, you've had an amazing season during the regular season, obviously kicking off in style here tonight as well. And so I feel like it's kind of fitting, obviously, with it being St. Patrick's Eve as well. So with the Guinness on the side, obviously, know that you definitely celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Not, I say no joking on this one. I say with your heritage and everything as well. So, I'm guessing it's a pretty pretty fun way to start off the festivities.
Well, if anything, I definitely had the luck of the Irish tonight on my side, and got the rub of the green and all the cliches that go along with it. I mean, I'm not so sure I deserve that win, but just got lucky, especially after that mistake I made in the first pit stop. My countdown wasn't working, and that's not really an excuse. I just missed it by a mile, and I think there was a 3-car breakaway, and if it had to stay green, I think those guys were gone. So I just said, look all over the place tonight.
Yeah, and that was something. Yeah, I noticed that too. It was one of those situations where, like, that's not a normal thing to see Gabe lose the main draft during pit stops. But you're right, though. I mean, it kind of also does go and show kind of maybe sometimes the reliance we have on some of the tools and features that we have in a lot of our things, as Dude makes an appearance here on your victory celebration. But yeah, I mean, as I've been in the same position too, where if you don't know spot on where your pit stall is, if you don't get that countdown you're used to, I mean, there's a lot of pit stalls you have to kind of try to spot on that. And we talked about, obviously, your guys' great looking paint schemes, but something that we haven't, I don't think, ever have talked about is your pit board. I mean, do you have like a pit board that's like, hey, I use this pit board week in, week out because it's one that I recognize and it stands out to the field? Or, I mean, how do you kind of do that here before we let you get back to your team?
I've got one for day and I've got one for night. So I think I accidentally left the night one on. But I mean, it was working. I could see it fine. I just, my countdown wasn't working, and I just wasn't paying attention. Completely my fault. And I didn't hear the countdown coming on. Then all of a sudden there's my pit board and I'm like, whoops, missed it. So, but again, that's shouldn't be an excuse. You should know where your pit is. And, be able to recognize your pit board easy, which I did. I just saw it too late.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably all of us in sim racing have been there, and we've seen it in actual NASCAR as well. So I'd say you're in pretty good company there, Gabe. So, but man, I'd say it was a great performance tonight. Like you said you recovered well from the miscue. The caution obviously brought you back in the mix, and then from there didn't step a foot wrong to get the win here tonight. So big congrats to you. Obviously, like I said, you've been doing it all this season. I say obviously want to give you the floor though for any thanks and shouts for that win tonight to kick off the playoffs.
A big shout out to my wife Janie. Huge shout out to the boot knocker guys. They're always there to help. And again, it's almost like another team win right there. They just did a fantastic job tonight. Just some of them got super unfortunate with that last pit road deal. And quick shout out to Seabass for giving me a push there to the end. And of course, Area 51 for putting on this league. It's a blast always. And of course, yourself, Gail, for putting on these great broadcasts, man. Everybody enjoys going back and looking at those things.
So it's always a pleasure to do these. Like I said, you guys, I feel like you make it easy for me because it's always a lot of fun to do. So, but yeah, great job tonight, though, Gabe. Go celebrate with your team, and then go celebrate with Jeannie here in a little bit, man. But yeah, congrats again, and look forward to seeing you here soon.
Thank you, Gaia.
All right, and that is our race winner in that number 88 truck, no stranger to victory lane. I believe that's going to be win 51 now, if I'm not mistaken. So we made the point of noting that he had win number 50 on, I believe, start number 250. So pretty impressive stats for Gabe here, and just again all around. I mean, he's fast, he's clean, he's modest when he gets the wins. He's got a little bit of everything. So. I know I hype him up a lot, but there's a reason for it. So Gabe's going to get the win here tonight over the rest of the field. Patrick Groover and Eric Laurie rounding out our podium finishers. Austin Call, Jim Brooks, our top 5 tonight. And then, like I said, unfortunately, those kind of getting caught up in some issues and miscues during the pit stops there under green flag conditions. Definitely changed the running order a fair bit for some of those. So the nice part is, like I said, there's no cutoff races, so basically it's going to be who can do the best out of the 4 races. So Gabe and Eric definitely kick things off with a big head of steam. It will be the question mark of who can recover that didn't have the nights they were looking for. As you see the ticker kind of poking back up on the top here, to kind of show where your favorite drivers. So you see you see the green, those are our playoff drivers. So Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, first and third. Then you got a bunch of playoff drivers there, 6 on back: Kevin Freese, Rick Sanchez, Robert Rock, Matt Wagner there. So a bunch of them in that top 10 after the fact. And then these are the guys that didn't have the nights they're looking for, because you can again see Dean Wilkinson 15th, 1 lap down. Bud Steele, same situation there, 16th. Seth Groover, unfortunately, just did not have the luck he needed to tonight. Gary Winters in the 66th there in 20th. Then, unfortunately, the ones that really got the big hits there at the end is going to be just popping up here. Josh Lassen, and that 09 truck winds up in 25th. So he's going to have a hole to climb out of, but, I mean, you never know how it could turn out. So, yeah, really want to thank you all for watching, supporting us here at Green White Checker TV. Like I said, I was rolling solo tonight because unfortunately Maxwell was under the weather. So Maxwell, hope you're feeling better soon, man. Definitely enjoy doing these with you, but we will be back again on Sunday night. Boomer Logan going to be calling the shots over there, and we'll see. I might be able to hop in the car as well with the next gen. Maybe be able to get some extra help in the booth. But like I said, always really hope you guys enjoy it and really appreciate the support. So. Yeah, happy Friday Eve. Hope you all have a very happy and safe St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. So definitely be safe, stay smart. If you're going drinking, make sure you have a ride home. Designated driver, all that kind of stuff, even with all the jokes aside and all that. But yeah, definitely please be safe, everybody. And yeah, so until then, next time, take care, stay safe, have a good night, and we'll see you all on Sunday night.